Chapter 3, number 61. So here's our balanced chemical equation because that's the first step in any one of these problems. Step number 2, when in doubt, convert to moles. That's already done for us for the first one. Step number 3, use the mole-to-mole ratio from the balanced chemical equation. So now we're given that we have 0.3 moles of the Na2SiO3, and we want to know how much HF there is. So put Na2SiO3 in a position where it's going to cancel, and put HF as my new set of units. There's an 8 in front of the HF right here. The Na2SiO3 has a 1 in front of it. And it's just asking for how many moles, because step number 4 is convert to whatever asked for units there are. They're only asking for moles, so 0.3 times 0.8, that ends up being 3 times 8 is 24, 2.4 moles of HF. That's letter A. Letter B, how many grams of NaF form when 0.5 moles of HF react? So now here's balanced chemical equation, done for us already. When in doubt, convert to moles. So in here we're given 0.5 moles of HF. So we're already converted to moles. Put a multiply sign, put a line. Now we're into the mole-to-mole ratio. So HF in a position where it's going to cancel because that's my given unit. And then I want to know how many grams of NaF form. So NaF is my desired unit, so I put that on the top. Looking at the balanced chemical equation, there's an 8 in front of the HF. And then I want to go to NaF, which is right here, and that's got a 2 in front of it. And then lastly, convert to the asked for units. And what they're asking for is how many grams. So now lastly, I need to go from moles of NaF right here to grams of NaF. To do this, I have to add up NaF on the periodic table, and I believe it's about 42 grams per mole of NaF. And following through with this 2:8 ratio and 42 in my calculator, I get 5.25 grams of NaF that are formed. Letter C, how many grams of the Na2SiO3 right here react with 0.8 grams of HF? Balanced chemical equation is done. Step number 2, convert to moles. So 0.8 grams of HF, put a multiply sign, put a line. Grams of HF in a position where it's going to cancel. Moles of HF as a new set of units, because in step 2 it says convert to moles. I can find how to convert to moles right here on my periodic table because I'm going from grams to moles. That's where I get this ratio right here. Step number 3, mole-to-mole ratio. So now I'll put moles of HF in a position where it's going to cancel because that's the units that I have, and put my desired units here on the top. And it wants to know Na2SiO3 on the top. And I look on the balanced chemical equation here, and Na2SiO3 has a 1 in front of it, and HF has an 8 in front of it right here. And then it asks how many grams, so I have to do step 4 and convert to the asked for units. And so I will put moles of the Na2SiO3 down here on the bottom, and I will put grams of the Na2SiO3 up here on the top. I've got to add up Na2SiO3 on the periodic table, and that adds up to be 122 grams. Let's see. Oh, HF, by the way, adds up to be 20 grams because fluorine's 19 on the periodic table and hydrogen's 1. Add those guys up, multiply those, divide that, multiply that, and you should end up with 0.610 grams of the Na2SiO3.